Alright, we are back. This is Any Given Sunday with Rob Leano on Camp Student Radio. Well, this is quite an interesting week. So, there's been, well, of course, lots of football. We had the NFL championships last week, and Pro Bowls this week, and then we have the Super Bowl next week. We're going to focus on what's to come. There's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to the Super Bowl. And here's one thing I find really interesting. So this is going to be my headline of the week. So we have Peyton Manning, who is under investigation for use of human growth hormone. Now, this when I first read about this a few days ago, it came to my first thought is, oh no, is this like another AFC cheating scandal? Because apparently every year some AFC team has some kind of cheating scandal to go on. Or maybe even the NFC sometimes. Just there's some cheating scandal going on, coming out of at least one of the conference champions. But then I read more, and it said that he is being investigated for use of human growth hormone in 2011. Wasn't that 5 years ago? Yeah, it's still a huge deal that you put under the investigation. But should that even be a real allegation, a real investigation to even look at? That Peyton Manning is that used HGH in 2011? How can you really prove that? And Peyton Manning's acting very professional about it. He said, "Yep, go ahead, look into it. I've got nothing to hide. I welcome your investigation because you'll find nothing." And really, that's what I think will happen. I think the NFL will find nothing. That these allegations against him are just completely stupid. Just here's the thing to look at: is those allegations were put in almost immediately after Peyton Manning won the AFC championship. Now, the thing is that those could be reasons why a team or a certain person, we can't really tell who it is, but there comes to a point where people will do almost anything to try to keep somebody from playing in the big game, Super Bowl 50. And now if this allegation was said, oh yeah, he used it in this AFC championship, then maybe the NFL would go, whoa, we need the test. We need to, to found anything going on. If we find any evidence that you did, then you can't play in the Super Bowl, buddy. But this is, like I said, this was from 2000. They said the allegation is that he used it in 2011. Really, like I said, shouldn't be a big deal. Of course, yeah, it's still a big deal, but shouldn't really bar Peyton Manning from being able to play in the Super Bowl. And going off of that, though, that the Super Bowl, like I said, it's only a week away. That doesn't give enough time for an investigation anyways. And, well, the thing is about that is, with that in mind, Peyton Manning is still going to play in the Super Bowl, no doubt. And even if these allegations remain true after the Super Bowl, weeks after the Super Bowl, this is going to be a really long investigation because they're going to go through several different channels because this is pretty far back. This is 5 years back. So there's gonna be, yeah, they're gonna look a few like several years back, and really there's uh yeah, there's really not much else to even think about. It's really like Peyton Manning's gonna play in the Super Bowl. He will play in the Super Bowl. No questions about that. That he will do that, and that it will be most likely his last game too, because he's in his quite late 30s. I think maybe even really close to 40, and it's once a quarterback reaches that age, it gets really hard for them, and it that's around time when they should retire. We saw that from Brett Favre. He went past that, and then that it wasn't pretty for them. So we don't like Peyton Manning really should consider retiring when it comes to after the Super Bowl, win or lose. It would. I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be pretty nice to see Peyton Manning win one more Super Bowl before he leaves. Because I mean, he made a statement in the NFL. He's been around for a long time, and he's written he written some of the books, like some of the record books. So there's he should go out with some dignity, having a statement that at least he made it to the Super Bowl. And that's the thing is, so, and yeah, but even if these allegations remain true, though, I don't think they can even put an asterisk next to his Super Bowl win if he wins, because how can they prove that from getting those getting the hormones in 2011 is even linked to his wins last week against the Patriots? That's almost impossible to prove. You can't do anything like that. So there will be no asterisk. So the worst they can do, especially since Peyton Manning is most likely going to retire, as we just talked about, is fine him. I mean, probably it's going to be a pretty big fine. We've seen it's probably the maximum fine. But really, it's not, for Peyton Manning, it's not that much of a big deal. He's got deals. I mean, you've seen him in commercials everywhere. Like, he's got, of course, he's playing for the Broncos right now still. He's going to the Super Bowl. He's got a lot of money there. He's got deals with Papa John's and with Nationwide. Is really that much money a fine? That's not going to do anything. So this investigation is really just like what I would say it's just a really stupid publicity stunt that someone's trying to pull off to make Peyton Manning look bad before going to the Super Bowl. And I think in the end it really is going to fail, though, because Peyton Manning is like the way he is. It's completely different, and people respect Peyton Manning no matter what. And that's the whole different thing is you can't put a cheating scandal on someone like Peyton Manning, who's been widely respected for a long time, over someone like who he played last week, like Tom Brady. Now, his respect in the league is like completely different. You have a lot of people who love him. And then a lot of people who absolutely really do not like him, because he comes off as arrogant in a way. Of course, a lot of football players do, but every single year there's a new cheating scandal. I mean, like, the big ones, like you had Deflategate last week, you got Spygate a few times before. Like, really, like, there's yeah, you can put you can fake a cheating scandal on them, and it'll make them look bad no matter what, because that's Tom Brady, and like really, I mean the NFL hates Tom Brady. We know that. We know Roger Goodell does. But the thing is, that's where we look at that's what we look at the most, is that, especially with Roger Goodell, because he's the one that like makes decisions in the end. Roger Goodell suspends Tom Brady. Tom Brady appeals, everything like that. They don't like him, and they never really did it. They never lifted it until it was brought to civil court, and there's Peyton Manning. I mean, I can't really tell you the future and how this investigation really is going to go. But like I said, it's most likely going to be, they're most likely not really going to find anything, not going to find anything of substance, for that matter, to even say that he was guilty of HGH use, and that's not really going to do anything to Peyton Manning's reputation in any way. He's Roger Goodell. I'm pretty sure even he has wide respect for Peyton Manning. So really, this is just a completely bogus investigation. Nothing of substance. Nothing really to argue about. Nothing that's gonna hurt Peyton Manning or the NFL in any way. Anyways, our next topic, what we got here, is alright, we have some interesting thing to talk about. So first, last week I was mentioning that the Oakland Raiders had a chance to go move. Yeah, they had a chance to go move to San Diego. And I was pretty much saying that would be a really high chance should San Diego choose to move to Los Angeles with the Rams. Now, San Diego said, no, we're staying in San Diego, and we are in talks with the Rams for a long-term deal to share that new stadium in Inglewood. But for now, we're staying in San Diego. Okay, what does this mean for the Raiders? Well, they could stay in Oakland. That's an option. But not too much later after this, there was a report that said that the Oakland Raiders are in talks about moving to Las Vegas. There's an interesting one right there. Las Vegas. So, after really thinking about it, it makes so much sense. Think about it. The Oakland Raiders, think about what their nature is like. Their colors, their like how they act, even their name brand, everything about it. It just spells Las Vegas. And if we want to talk about market, I mean, I talked about it last week, how a move from Oakland to San Diego would open up a huge market for the Raiders. And we do have a call, and this is Camp Radio. This is Camp Radio. How's it going, man? I do? Yeah, what about it? Why do you say so? And that's definitely a good point to really think about. But the one of the things I was thinking about also is, like, I was just talking about the market, and right now, of course, staying in Oakland, really, like, the market there, it's pretty small. They can't really make much money off of it. And if they decided to move to Las Vegas, then that will open up so much, like, it will open a lot of money that they can actually get, because you have such a huge amount of people there who want to go watch football on a Sunday afternoon. All right, man. Thanks, so. All right, so we had a pretty good talk right there about we had a guy call in to have give him his 2 cents about the Raiders moving to Las Vegas, and he made some pretty good points about that. So question is out there. We have no idea whether or not they are actually going to make the move. I mean, they're just talking about it, but really, in the end, like, it seems like it seems there's different ways to put it. It can either be a really good thing or a really bad thing, depending on how you look at it. But for now, they're gonna stay in Oakland. We know that. There's no. I mean, we'll see what the NFL does in terms of letting them move out, or just there's a long process of relocation, and right now, for especially for this year, going into the 2016 season, it's just in the best interest for the Raiders not to think about it. But if they decided to look at relocation, there's multiple places to look at. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break actually, and when we get back, we're gonna talk about a few other things that I just read about last night. It's gonna be so just fresh off the news. We'll talk about it when we get back. Alright, we are back any given Sunday with Rob Leano. Alright, so this is something quite new. This just came off last night or this morning. So there was a police report where we had coming out of the Fort Worth police, who were reporting that there is a incident with Johnny Manziel, and the fact that he is on that he has an abuse allegation now. So now this is another Johnny Manziel scandal. Really, we had him drinking at a party. We had him this guy does not stop. He's a quarterback. He's supposed to be a guy that's leading a team, and he's in professional sports, and this is the kind of things that we see on the news about him. When we see news about a quarterback, we don't the things we see. Most of the time is they talk about their team and talk about a lot of quarterbacks are pretty team oriented. Of course, not all, but a lot of them are, and most of them do prove leadership. And if Johnny Manziel will even wants to even get a consideration to be back in the NFL and get a starting position for a team, he's got to at least prove that he can be a leader and be someone that's sensible. And these allegations from the Fort Worth, Texas police obviously are not the kind of things that you want to see coming out of a quarterback. And this whole thing about domestic abuse. So the thing is, so it says he was involved in an incident with a woman who identified herself as an ex-girlfriend. And now the investigation is that Manziel assaulted her. Investigation's going to go on for a long time. It's going to hurt his reputation entirely. And in fact, really, I think that the Cleveland Browns organization has given him so much in terms of chances. We've seen when a player gets injured, all right, Johnny, we're gonna give you a chance. He plays, of course, doesn't play well, but he plays. And then after he gets that starting position, literally during the week, he goes out and parties, or goes out and gets a DUI, or whatever it is. It hurts the image of Johnny Manziel, and it hurts the image of the Cleveland Browns. So in that saying, the Cleveland Browns is all right, no, we're putting you back to third string again, or we're putting you back to backup, the third string, the fourth string. They just keep giving him chances, and then all right, we're going to give you another chance. See what you can do there. Allegations come back again. Nope, you're going back. The Cleveland Browns, like I said, the Cleveland Browns organization has given Johnny Manziel so many chances, and I do not think that I don't think they can give him any more chances. I mean, the fact that we have a domestic abuse allegation that Manziel assaulted someone who identifies as an ex-girlfriend. Don't know if that is true or not. We'll see exactly what the actual allegation is. But it still hurts the reputation of the Cleveland Browns again. And really, I don't think they can give him any more chances. I think that with this allegation and investigation going through, this is probably going to be the end of the Johnny Manziel era. And, or I wouldn't say era, just the end of Johnny Manziel with the Cleveland Browns, really. They're just going to say, we do not want this, we do not want you hurting our reputation. I mean, we know the Cleveland Browns they've never really had a great reputation as a team as a whole, but having Manziel on the team really hurts them even more so. And I think Cleveland Browns need to really consider what they want to do. And keeping Manziel on the team isn't going to help them one bit. They definitely should get him out of here. I think that Manziel has not learned to grow up. He is still a college boy, and I think that he almost never will learn how to grow up, and unless really he learns the hard way, really, by the Browns getting rid of him. The Browns cut him, terminated his contract, said goodbye, we don't want you anymore, because really you're not learning to be a leader. And that's a pretty huge thing, really, because like I said, Manziel has had so many chances, and coming out of Texas, he's had going to college while there, he's had some he played well. I mean, well in college. Don't get me wrong, but the thing is, the fact that the getting drafted into the NFL didn't really tell him to grow up. That he had to grow up. He had to pretty much give up his college lifestyle and move to a more professional lifestyle and actually act as an adult. I don't think he was able to. I don't think that even crossed his mind yet. Not even yet. Like, really, you had a few years. You had a couple years in the NFL. The Browns gave you a chance. They drafted you. They gave you a couple years, and you just keep failing them on the field and off the field. What reason do they have to keep him? Now that's the thing I don't see. But so what we're going to see is that the investigation is going to go on for a long time. I guess either way, it's going to hurt. And whether or not Johnny Manziel is going to learn from this mistake or not, that's for him to decide, really. Because if he hasn't learned from the other ones, who knows if he's going to learn from this one. And really the only way for him to learn would be for the Rams to drop him. But, that's not much I can say from that. Alright, so we're actually going to take another quick break, and when we get back, we'll just keep going. Alright, we are back. Any Given Sunday with Rob Leano and Cam Student Radio. So what we got next is, we're going to talk a little about San Francisco. 49ers, that is. So, the former owner of the 49ers, Eddie DeBarlo, well, he's a finalist to go into the Hall of Fame. And, this is pretty huge, especially for San Francisco. Eddie DeBarlo has been widely considered one of the greatest owners for San Francisco. Well, most likely he widely considered. No, everyone loved Eddie DeBarlo. The thing is, so right now Eddie DeBarlo he's going uncontested as a finalist for contributor to football for this year's Hall of Fame class. Now, whether or not he actually makes it in, I mean, we actually still don't know. The chances of him is still pretty high, given he is uncontested. However, he does need 80% approval on a yes/no ballot for him to even get in there. Now, the thing is that reason why there are reasons why he's would get a yes, that being that he treated the 49ers organization like a family. And, everyone says that. Even former 49ers quarterback Joe Montana, he talked about that. He said he talked about how well treated that the Niners organization was then, how close everyone was, how he liked about how how Eddie DeBarlo treated the entire organization. And that's a huge thing for an organization to do something like that. And he went through the entire good years of the San Francisco 49ers, going through all 5 Super Bowls that the Niners won. So that being with Joe Montana and with Steve Young and all the other 49er greats, that they all say the same thing about Eddie DeBarlo. So having that said, really, that he was able to leave a legacy for that long, winning 5 Super Bowls, treating a team like a family, those are reasons why Eddie DeBarlo would get a yes. But what makes it difficult for him are the reasons why people would say no. Now, the thing is, we talked about. I mean, we didn't talk about this, but like what I was talking about before, not on the show, but when I was reading about this actually yesterday with a couple colleagues of mine, that these colleagues, of course, were also 49ers fans, but the Eddie DeBarlo, when he was when he was still owning the team, there was he was in a investigation for an extortion attempt in Louisiana. And this was back in 1998. And he failed to report, and he had to plead guilty. He had a felony charge on him, and he had to give away the team. So, 2 years later, in 2000, Eddie DeBarlo decided, it's time to give up the team. So I'm gonna give it. So he decided to give it to his sister, Denise de Barlow York, and you know everything after that was a complete change. But those have been reasons to have problems, and like we said, that's a huge factor why people would say no, and it was even 3 times before that. Eddie DeBarlo was a finalist for 3 different times going into the Hall of Fame, and on those 3 times, he failed to get in, mainly because of that factor of his legal trouble that he had. And but really, I think what people should look at though is the legacy that DeBarlo left the 49ers organization. The legacy that he left of 5 Super Bowls with, and then the 49ers family. And when you get so much praise from the players like that, and you're an owner, that's a whole different story. So who knows what we can see from that? But DeBarlo will find out whether or not he makes it within this week, just before Super Bowl 50 kicks off, and I'll provide that update next week during our Super Bowl special show, and we'll see what we can do from there. All right, so speaking of the Hall of Fame, former 49ers player Terrell Owens is a finalist for the Hall of Fame. So this is interesting. Now, Terrell Owens has, he was a former 49ers, a former Cowboy, a former Bill, and a former Bengal. He went all over the NFL, and when he played, he was good. He was good. He's right now he is 6th in all-time receptions at 1,078. 2nd in all-time receiving yards, 15,934. That's only 2nd to Jerry Rice. And 3rd in all-time receiving touchdowns at 153, just behind Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. So, yeah, he's a great wide receiver. So, him being on the ballot, that's a huge deal. But he's also had troubles in general when it comes to his own self-image. Him, if you look, he had to go through so many different teams, so many different coaches, and really he did not have good relationships with them either. And that's part of the reason why he went from the Niners to the Eagles to the Cowboys to the Bills to the Bengals, and then later on, he even made a really small run in another small indoor league. But if we look though in general at the impact or the records that Terrell Owens left, that he's still way up there in terms of receptions and receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. I don't really think that there's a reason not to put him in there. And there was a former coach, one of his former coaches, actually says he agrees with it. That coach is now he currently coaches the Kansas City Chiefs. That's Andy Reid. And well, Andy Reid says that he was a pleasure to coach. He was a great player. He was, he had very few off the field issues, which he admitted that he had. He said, yeah, he had an off the field issue, but that shouldn't bar him from getting a Hall of Fame, getting enshrined in the Hall of Fame, getting that gold jacket, and so the thing is that yeah, there's no reason not to put him in there. I also do think that Terrell Owens does belong in the Hall of Fame, and whether or not he does or not, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we'll see the same fate as DeBarlo later this week, and I'll give you the update there next week. But it's a hard one to tell. But we'll see about it. All right, so it's been all football this week, but really, that's all we got. Really, we got all football. But here's another interesting thing. Actually, this is actually a few days old, but I find this actually really interesting. So, in the beginning of the show, I was talking about how Peyton Manning is a very well-respected quarterback, and compared him to someone like Tom Brady, who's not very well-respected. And just as I say that, I saw this pop up, a couple days old, but still, I mean, it's still relevant. And so, after losing to the Broncos in the AFC Championship, Tom Brady went on, he actually acted pretty classy about it. I mean, he did opt out of the Pro Bowl, which, that honestly doesn't make any difference, because the Pro Bowl is really something that, no one really has any, no one really likes the Pro Bowl that much. It shouldn't, I don't think it really should be a thing anymore. But so, anyways, after losing, Tom Brady went to go write a letter. He hand wrote a letter to his fans on Wednesday after the loss, and he shared it on Facebook. And that post that he made on Facebook, it was shared 50,000 times, and liked nearly 250,000 times. And so Tom Brady, in this letter, he pretty much thanks his fans for his support and his teammates, and he pretty much said that he's proud to call New England his home, and it's a privilege to be able to play for the team. And really, the fact that he actually wrote this letter to talk to his fans really speaks a lot about how much he actually cares for New England. And, we talk about how much Tom Brady has a bad reputation with the NFL, with everyone else. And that's the image that he gives us. Is he doesn't give us a really good image. And we've had him behind so many of the scandals, proven not guilty for Deflategate, but a lot of people are still skeptical about that. And now, so Tom Brady, we know he does not have a good image with the NFL, with a lot of NFL fans, other than the Patriots organization. And so he writes this letter And it makes me think, wow, maybe he's not all that bad of a guy. And that's one of the things that is interesting. So he, I mean, he's he doesn't like. I still see him, and I listen to him. He doesn't come off as a guy I would still like. Now, yet there is the thing. No, I will not like. I still do not like Tom Brady. I do not have much respect for him, given some of his histories of what he's said and what he's done. But I give him props for writing this kind of letter, that he actually did this. It shows, and like I said, it shows to the fans of New England that he actually does care. And it makes me think he's not all that bad of a guy than I actually thought. But who knows what he's gonna do next year? Just with how well he played, especially with a slightly injured team. I mean, his team was healthy against the AFC Championship, but of course, and outplayed by Denver. But come next year, when Peyton Manning is most likely gone, Tom Brady's going to make another run for a Super Bowl, because really there's no one in the AFC, as of yet, that can even rival how versatile his offense is. Rob Gronkowski, having Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski on the same team is so lethal. It's gonna be it's gonna be like that for a while, a couple more years at least. But going back to the letter though, is so in response to this letter, C.J. Anderson, the Denver Broncos running back, also went on social media, and he didn't after the he didn't go on thank the fans, say thank you for your support, fans, everything like that. That would be a very stereotypical thing to do, wouldn't it? But what he did instead this is still relevant to Brady, is that he actually thanked Brady for his words of encouragement. So what he posted on social media, and this also changes my view of Tom Brady, is Anderson wrote, "I know a lot of people hate this man, but when he was pick 199 and was overlooked, he inspired me. I was undrafted and overcame all the odds. So blessed that he told me after the game." And so he pretty much gave this background about what he said. And what Tom Brady told him is that he said, quote, "CJ, way to fight and prove everybody wrong. That you belong in this league. You're one hell of a player. I love the way you keep climbing to be great." Anderson went on to say on social media, "I'm proud to say I'm 3-2, and his team is proud to say I get to battle him every year." He says, "Thank you, Tom, for telling me those words. That they will stick. And I know a lot of people don't like you, but I have mad respect. Thanks. I see you overcome as others in the league, and now it's my turn." There's a huge thing right there. There is one thing. that is completely respectable, and there's no. It makes me say, yeah, okay, I'll give Tom Brady that respect. doesn't necessarily mean I still have to like him. But I'll give him the respect that he deserves for what he said to C.J. Anderson and what he said to his fans. Because that's literally the classiest way I've seen a quarterback. One of the classiest ways I've seen a quarterback go out. And I mean, that's all we have for today, really. That's not much else to say to that. So, it's now 11 o'clock, so that's just the end of Any Given Sunday with Rob Leano on Camp Student Radio. So next week, be sure to tune in to the Super Bowl Sunday special. It's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about because it's so much Super Bowl, so much. It's going to be a crazy day. And hope you guys have a good week, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. Have a good week.